Hey folks, welcome back. So in the last video we discussed Python comments and indentation. So in this video we talk about variables and data type. So let's get started. So what is a variable? So let's look at the definition. So variable is a name which is used as a pointer to the data that is stored in a computer memory. So let's look at the simple diagram to understand that. So here we can see that cost which is pointing to 10 and name which is pointing to mango. So here cost and name both are variables and 10 and mango both are values. So cost is a variable which holds the integer value 10 and name is a variable which holds the string value mango. So when we define these in Python, so we simply do like instead of message here we'll be having what is that, cost equals to instead of hello world we'll be having 10. So that's how we define a variable. So while defining variable, we need to follow certain rules in order to maintain the code readability. And so when developing the softwares, we generally we do a collaborative work. So we need to follow some rules to maintain the code readability and software maintenance. So in order to define the variable, so we need to follow these rules. So variable should not contain any spaces and it should always start with underscore or any character. So it should not start with the special characters and it should not start with the numbers as well. So the variable should be short and meaningful. When we define, we should not define any large variables. Though we have the, let's say here we have uh, use multiple words. Instead of use multiple words, we should not be using like use underscore multiple underscore words. So we can simply use multiple underscore words. So that is short and self-explanatory. So here we can see simple, I mean, some of the examples for variables, student name, account number, phone number, something like that. And Python is case sensitive language. So both the characters, let's say lowercase a and uppercase a, both are treated as different. Let's say ABC equals to 10 with lowercase and capital A and BC equals to 10. So both are treated as two different variables. Let's talk about data types in Python. So let's look at the definition first. So data type is a classification of data which tells the computer that how the programmer wants to use the data. So it looks like complex, but let's make it simple. So here we have let's talk about the mobile phone. So how we generally represent the phone? So phone, which is a phone version and phone brand and phone cost. So here we have three different data. So version is let's say 6.2, which is float, and name, let's say Samsung, which is a string, and the cost, let's say 6,000 rupees, which is cost. So here we have three different data. So we classified the data. So when we have different types in data types in Python. So some of them are integer, string, and float. So let's look at the available data types in Python. Let me go to this diagram. So here we can see that we have two different I mean the data is classified into two types, which is the mutable and immutable. So what is immutable? Once the data is created, it doesn't allow us to change its value. But whereas in mutable, once we create the data, we can able to update the data in it. And let's see further. So under immutable, again we classified that into primitive and non-primitive data. So primitive data is the basic data, so which can't be further classified. But non-primitive data is composed of primitive data, and it can also have non-primitive data as well. So primitive data is integer, string, float, boolean, and non-primitive data frozen set and tuple. So these two are collections, so it can have the values of all these primitive data and combine, I mean, collection of the non-primitive and mutable data as well. So under mutable we have only non-primitive, and under non-primitive we have list, set, and dictionary. Let's go back to this page. So let's talk about how we define these data. So here we can see under mutable, immutable data, this is how we define the boolean. So boolean is number equals to true, is valid equals to false. So we need to specifically define these true and false exactly. So otherwise that will be treated as a different, or it will throw error. So coming to integer, so we define something like this: the name and assignment operator and value. Same for float, except it will have the dot for decimal notation. And coming to strings, so we need to wrap the string within double quote or single quote. So here we use double quote, we actually use single quote. So this is how we define the tuple. So we need to use these brackets. Inside that we can pass the data. So currently we used integer data here, but we can use boolean and the string, anything. So coming to frozen set, we need to use the frozen set function, which is a built-in function provided by Python. So here we have a syntax error. Actually, we need to pass only one element, which is iterable element. So let's look at all these in VS Code. Before that, let's also look at the mutable data. So in mutable data, we have list and set and dictionary. So for defining list, we need to use square brackets. Inside that, we can pass the comma separated primitive data or any other data. So under set, this is how we define the set. So we use flower brackets to define it and close the data. So here we defined boolean, sorry, integer, but we can use different data types as well, like list, tuple, or any Python provided data object, something like that. So here we have a dictionary. So the difference between these list, set, and dictionary is we use key as key value pair. So this is key and this is value. So this is how we define the dictionary. Let's go back to VS Code and see how we can implement these concepts. So here we are looking at the laptop details. Let's define some variables and convert this text into programmatical form. So let's define the variable brand for brand HP. Let's copy that, and series. So in Python, we generally use snake case notation. So we always use lowercase letters for variables. Let's copy this and screen size 14 inches. Let's use the integer value for that, and we can mention that in comments. And color, so which is a string, that is natural silver. And hard disk, let's say disk size 256 gigabyte. And yeah, we can skip this for now. Weight 2.5 kilograms. And let's define the boolean as well, as type C. So here we have no, which means false. So yes or no, we define true or false. No means false. So this is how we convert the basic information in the text format to programmatical format. So let's look at the how we define. So first let's run it. So it didn't do anything. That means we didn't have any syntax errors. Let's use the print statement to print the brand and series. Let's run it again. So here we can able to see the data for that. Let's define the immutable data boolean is valid equals to false. Let's define the int number equals to 1000 and float, let's say float number equals to 3.6, and string we can use address equals to 1 dash 2 dash 330 Golden Road, Hyderabad, and string is done. Tuple t equals to, let's use names, John, Shiva, Amy. So this is how we define tuple. We need to wrap it with the curly brackets. Let's define frozen set. Frozen set fs equals to frozen set. We need to pass iterable here. So we need to let's say 1a some 4.6 and then 4.6 again and then 2.3. Let's use Amy again in tuple. So let's print it. So here we can see the frozen set data and the tuple. So if we look at carefully, so tuple has duplicate values, but whereas frozen set didn't have the duplicate values. Let's look at the mutable data, which is list lst equals to, let's copy the tuple data exactly, and let's comment out this, and let's use print statement to print list. So while defining a list, we need to use the square brackets. Inside that we can use comma separated values. Let's run it. So we can able to see the list data here. And similarly, we can define the set s equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. So let's define 6 again, and let's print it. Set comma s. So once we run it, so we can able to see the set here. So we didn't have any duplicate data here. And coming to dictionary, we need to use key value pair with within curly braces, just like set. But the functionality is completely different for each and every data type. Let's define a date. D equals to name John, age 45. Let's print D. Let's comment this for now and run the program again. So here we can see age 45 and name John. So this is how dictionary looks like in Python. So we defined all types of mutable and immutable data types. So these are the basic data types that we need to know. So if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.